In this video, we're going to take a look at the eufy e21 baby monitor. This one's really interesting because it has a local monitor that you can use without Wi-Fi, and it has an app to use with Wi-Fi. So let's take a look at what you get in the box. You get the camera, a parent unit, a base to charge the parent unit, 3 cords, one for the camera, one for the monitor, and one for the base. You get 2 charger blocks, and you get a variety of mounting hardware, including a gooseneck mount and a crib side mount. And I was really glad to see that all the cords are just USB-C. There's no proprietary cords here. Once I unpacked everything, it was time to set things up. And setting up the local mode was super easy. I literally just had to turn everything on and it all connected and it just worked. Setting the camera up with the parent unit is completely separate from setting it up with the app. They are 2 separate connections. It is optional to use the app. If you don't want to use it with Wi-Fi, you don't have to. App kept giving me all kinds of errors when I was trying to set it up, and it took me a while to get it connected. But after I got it connected, it was solid and worked fine from there. One thing that's great about the app is there is no subscription required, and there's not even one available. So there's no features that you're missing if you don't pay for a subscription. Recordings from the camera are done locally on a micro SD card that is stored inside the camera. So you do have to purchase a micro SD card, which does increase the cost a little bit. Personally, I'd rather spend about $15 on a micro SD card one time than have to pay for an ongoing subscription. So let's take a look at the parent unit. I really like this parent unit base for charging. That is not something I've seen in a lot of baby monitors, and I think this makes it really convenient. As you can see, the picture's really good, even in completely dim light, and you can move the camera around with the parent unit, and you can turn it all the way around to face the wall. In the menus, you can control the brightness. You can change which alerts you're going to get. You have the options of getting alerts for loud sounds and for abnormal temperatures, and you can adjust the sensitivity of the alerts. You can replay past events that were recorded on the unit. You can make white noise sounds play. I like that it has sleep modes for the parent, so you can make it only turn the video on when there's sound, or you can make it audio only. It also has a zoom button, and it has press to talk, where you can talk to the child's room. Hello, hello, hello. I was also really impressed with the range of the parent unit. I tested the length of connection with no walls in between, just walking down the sidewalk, and I was able to go 400 feet away before the parent unit started losing connection. And then I tried placing the camera upstairs in a bedroom, and I was able to go 250 feet away from the house, and I was able to go all the way down to the basement with the camera up on the 2nd floor with no problems in connection. We have a lot of interference in our house and our neighborhood, so I've struggled with some of the non-Wi-Fi baby monitors staying connected, but this one did a great job. I also tested the battery on the parent unit and the battery on the camera. For the parent unit, with the sound and the picture going all night long, it lasted over 10 hours, which is a really good battery life. If you had that sleep mode going on, it would last way longer than that. This monitor is also unique in that the camera has a battery, and I tested it overnight, and in night mode the camera lasted about 5 hours before shutting off. Apparently it can last a lot longer when it's not in night mode, but I really like the idea that it has a battery so that if you have a power outage or a little blip, it won't lose connection and it'll just continue working. I don't know about you, but we struggle with power outages in our area. It's also really nice that you can move the camera around the house and use it for playtime or nap time without having to worry about plugging it in every single time. The downside to having a battery in the camera is it does make the camera kind of bulky and heavy, and it does heat up a little bit. But in my opinion, this is a case where the upsides probably outweigh the downsides. I also like that the camera has a physical switch to turn it off, and it also has a switch to turn off the Wi-Fi. If the Wi-Fi switch is turned off, you can still use it locally with the parent unit. Okay, now let's take a look at the app. And remember, this is connected separately to the camera from the parent unit. Totally different connection. From the app, you still have similar controls that you can move the camera around the room. You can also turn your white noise on and off. In the app, you can also do continuous playback, not just playback the events. It also has an autofocus where it'll focus on the face of the baby. I did find this doesn't always work. It works better with more light or if the camera's more above the baby. You can also take a recording or a screenshot. And down here you can see you can change the sound mode, you can mute it, and this is background sound. So if background audio is on and then you leave the app, it'll keep playing the sound through your phone. But I'm really surprised that it doesn't allow a picture-in-picture so that you can see the picture of the baby monitor while the app is closed. All the other apps that I've looked at allow you to do that. If you go into the settings, you can see that it isn't exactly the same as using the parent unit. One thing I like here is this privacy shutter. This basically makes the camera turn around, flip, and stop recording video. So it's nice that you can turn it totally off from the app. And when you turn it back on, the camera will turn back around again. Up here, you can see your various notification settings, and you see you can get notifications for crying, loud sounds, and abnormal temperature. But you might notice something that is missing, and that's motion alerts. I was really surprised that eufy does not include motion alerts, and apparently it's been something lots of parents have been asking for, and eufy said they're going to add in a future update, but it hasn't happened. It's also disappointing that if the baby monitor disconnects, you do not get a notification either on the parent unit or in the app. That would be pretty unnerving to wake up in the morning and realize it had been disconnected all night. Under the general settings, one thing that I do really like is you can turn the LED to go off automatically in the dark. So when the room is dark, the camera is completely dark and the baby's not going to see anything. As you can see, this monitor has a really nice view in the dark. You can definitely see well, but right now there's a lamp on in that room and it's not that dark. It stays in dark mode when it's pretty light in the room. I've been kind of surprised about that. If I manually turn off the night mode, you can see what it would look like in color. Another nice feature in the app is that you can share the device. So you just click down here and then you'd have your parenting partner or babysitter set up their app, and then you'll be able to share the camera and they can use it with their own login. Also notice that this monitor does check the temperature in the room. It does not check the humidity, but the temperature is pretty accurate within a couple degrees. This baby monitor also says that it has noise cancellation, and I can't really tell any difference between this one with noise cancellation versus one without. And I have used a baby monitor that has really good noise cancellation, and this one is nowhere near that. If you're playing white noise in the room, you can clearly hear it over the monitor. So I don't think there's much noise cancellation going on. Something else that's lacking from this monitor is a nightlight feature. That's something I would have expected in a monitor this expensive. I only have a single camera for this unit, but I did read that if you have two cameras connected, it does make a nice split screen, and the sound will rotate back and forth between the two cameras every 5 seconds. So parents of 2 kids definitely liked this monitor for the split screen feature. As for mounting options, it is nice that this monitor comes with 3 different mounting options. You can mount it straight to the wall, you can mount it to the side of the crib with this piece that grabs on, or you can use the gooseneck piece to have it hang over the side of the crib. But I found a lot of comments online that found that the gooseneck really didn't work. It just slides over because the camera is too heavy, and that's exactly what I found in my testing as well. I also don't love the mount directly to the side of the crib either. Since it faces downward and the camera can't tilt too far to the bottom, it feels like it can't necessarily see the whole crib very well. This plate is required for mounting it to anything, but if you put it in this piece, it gets stuck. And I had a heck of a time getting it out the first time, and it's stuck in there again. And since this monitor uses this slide-on mounting system, it makes it kind of hard to use a lot of the generic mounts for baby monitors. So I was excited that it had a lot of mounting options included, but I don't really love any of them. The cost of this baby monitor retails at about $260, but it does go on sale for about $160. $260 seems like an awfully steep price for this, but with the sale price, it's not too bad. So let's talk about the overall pros and cons of this baby monitor. I really like the parent unit. I think as a local baby monitor, it does a really good job. The parent unit has a great battery, great connection. It really does everything you'd want it to do. I like that the camera comes with a battery. That's a rare feature, and I think it could be really handy. I also like the privacy options of this baby monitor. You can turn off the camera, you could turn off the Wi-Fi, so I like that you could use it locally without having to be streaming over the internet all the time. I think the app is decent, and I love that it's free and there's no subscription. I like that the recordings are stored locally, so you don't have to worry about cloud recording. And this monitor seems to work well if you have 2 cameras. A lot of parents like the split screen feature. So what are the negatives? I was excited to see that it has noise cancellation, but I was really disappointed that it doesn't seem to actually work. And I'm shocked that it doesn't have motion alerts. And the lack of picture-in-picture on the app is kind of shocking. Before I tested this baby monitor, I really thought it was going to be the ultimate that had everything you could ever want, but it's really missing some key features. If you want to try this baby monitor for yourself, I'm going to include my affiliate links down below, and if you do buy anything through those links, I do earn a commission. If you want to see how this one stacks up against the competition and which smart baby monitor is the right one for you, check out my roundup of the best smart baby monitors. I'm going to include the link to that one right here, so check that out next.